Hey everyone, welcome to another painting process video. This time around I'll be showing you my painting process for my silver fan art from Deadlock. I really found the new hero designs to be really cool, so I had no choice but to just start drawing them. And in addition, as usual, I'll be discussing a topic in art. This time around, I'll just get straight to the point. I'm not gonna do there's this one secret that you should have. The more experience that I get from drawing professionally, the more I realize that silhouette is basically the major key to art. Now, to preface, this is not new knowledge, obviously, especially since I graduated from animation school. Silhouettes are pretty important in all forms of entertainment media. And since I'm painting silver, you can imagine that video games are also very keen on having good silhouettes. The reason being is quite simple. If you are watching animation or you're playing a video game, you're going to have to recognize things rather quickly because they might be moving very fast on the screen. So it's vital for designers to ensure that silhouettes are unique from each other so that you are able to distinguish characters as they're moving. Now, of course, this gets into nuances of animation where you're gonna have to figure out how to have the character moving while retaining a semblance of unique silhouettes. But let's not go into the advanced topics in terms of that. From a baseline, you have to ensure that silhouettes work in your artwork. And it's not just entertainment media. No matter what you're doing, illustration, fine arts, and all that sort of thing, every single artist is going to be very aware of the silhouettes being created on their compositions. Again, I used to just think of it in terms of entertainment media, but I'm going to give you the very quick explanation as to why it universally works in every media. It's simply how human vision works. When we are looking at anything, our first intuition always becomes a consideration of the silhouette that you are seeing. This is before you even have any of the other aspects of art, such as values and color and that sort of thing. The silhouette that a subject matter creates is the first thing you will recognize. Now, there are some theories of the reason why this is the case. Notably, one of the ones that I sort of believe is that babies have blurry vision before they develop their eyes. So, given that they can't really see the details, they only recognize the world through blurry silhouettes. And that's how we got conditioned to being used to that. I digress. Regardless of how it works, we are definitely only going to recognize the silhouette first before anything else. One thing to test this theory on, now not that you really need to because it's a universal truth, is that think of how weird it is if somebody you know suddenly got a very drastic haircut. The first thing that you usually would say is, "Oh, I could barely recognize you." It's because hair is a very prominent part of our silhouettes. If you're an anime watcher, of course, that's something that you would probably know. But even in our reality, this sort of thing really matters. How we create our silhouettes, whether we are using a good haircut or we're wearing certain clothing, will dictate how people think of you, or at least recognize you. And beyond that, the way that we create action also changes our silhouettes, and how we recognize action also is determined by the silhouette first. This is something that even I've kind of understood as I started doing more and more martial arts. Something I've noticed from the most effective techniques in martial arts is being able to hide the silhouette as much as possible so that your opponent can't react fast enough. This is rather subconscious. That's not to say that martial artists are always thinking about whether they're creating good silhouettes. It just sort of works out that way, weirdly enough. And that always comes back to how our human vision works. Knowing this, when we transfer that to art, we understand that in order to create concise, clear designs and images, we first have to prioritize the silhouette. All things come down to the silhouette when it comes to art. Honestly, other than creating a deliberately confusing image, there is no substitute for silhouettes. If you screw up your silhouettes, you're going to make it very hard for your viewers to see and interpret what your art piece is about. We're basically creating an image of the universe on the canvas. We're peering into the artist's vision. So if your silhouettes are unrecognizable, then you're not really capturing reality in a way that people are conditioned to do. I don't care how many details, how good your rendering you have on your canvas. If the initial silhouettes do not create a good composition, then you're going to fail to connect with your audience. Now, for those who play Deadlock or any shooting games and that sort of thing, this is even more so important because when people are flying around all over your screen and such, you only have a very short amount of time to react accordingly. One of the things I like about Silver from this game is that she turns into a werewolf, and her werewolf has a very intimidating silhouette. When she transforms into the werewolf, her entire silhouette changes, which will aptly create a certain reaction from their audience. This is something that is going to be universal in every single type of video game that you'll ever play, assuming they have competent designers. Now, I won't mention any names, but there are some video games that aren't really considering the silhouettes of these characters as they're being shown on the screen. And it's going to impede gameplay, and it's going to cause confusion. This is, of course, not something that is deliberate in most cases, unless there's a really good reason to deceive the audience. So oftentimes it tells me that these games are hiring incompetent people. So rest assured, even professional studios can have times where they have an oversight when it comes to this sort of thing. It's such a fundamental part of designing that a lot of people overlook it. So if you want to just level up your art immediately from just watching this video, I want you to take heed of just how your silhouettes look on your work. Trust me, if you are capable of seeing what good and bad silhouettes are, you're probably beating away around 50% of the issues that will come as you keep painting and drawing the piece. It's that important. And a lot of times when I make a silhouette mistake, I will probably just redo an illustration. Of course, it's probably better to sketch it out and get rid of the bad drafts first and foremost, but sometimes, like with this fan art, I just go directly into it, and if I fumble, then I fumble. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is the final piece of Silver from Deadlock. As usual, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Any little bit helps. Follow my social media as well in my description below. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.